There are many superstitions in Mexico. Some of these ancient beliefs have been passed down from generation to generation, and others are followed because of warnings from elders and past experiences. One well known superstition is that you should never make plans with friends or family outdoors in the dark of night. The reason for this, their older folks say, is that there are always things lurking in the darkness, listening and waiting for the perfect opportunity to trick you, take advantage of you, and destroy you. This is a story about something that happened to my grandfather when he was a young man. His name was Jose, and he was just 20 years old at the time. He was working as a fisherman in a small coastal village where he was born. He still lived with his mother and his girlfriend. Raven lived just down the street from him. Her family owned a small boat and fished in the same area as Jose. One night, after fishing, he met Raven and they went out for a quiet drink together. When the bar closed, they decided to head home, and their journey took them by an old cemetery. As they made their way down the lonely country road, there was only the light of the moon to guide them in the darkness. When they reached Jose's house, he said to his girlfriend, "Hey, Raven, let's leave a little early tomorrow so we can cast our nets out before everyone else gets to the shore." "That's a good idea," Raven replied. "We can leave around 5 a.m. tomorrow while it's still dark. I will come to the front yard to pick you up, so be ready to go when I call you." "See you in the morning," said Jose as he kissed her goodnight. They waved to each other and went their separate ways. Early the next morning, Jose was awakened by the sound of someone calling his name. "Hey, Jose, wake up. Let's go." Jose dragged himself out of bed and looked out the window. He saw Raven standing in the front yard, staring up at him. When he glanced at the clock, he saw that it was 4:30 a.m. "You're early," he called. Just give me a minute." "Hurry up," shouted Raven. "It will be bright soon." Jose quickly dressed and grabbed his things. When he ran downstairs and opened the front door, he saw Raven was already walking down the road. "Hey, wait for me," called Jose anxiously. But Raven didn't turn around. She just kept on walking. Jose ran after her and tried to catch up with her. But then Raven started running. He thought this was strange, and when he slowed down, so did Raven. She never looked back and just kept the same distance between them. Eventually, they neared their favorite spot for fishing, which was only a few minutes away. To get there, they had to cross a deep trench with a narrow bridge across it. When Raven came to the middle of the bridge, she suddenly stopped and stood very still. Her back was to Jose, and he couldn't see her face. For some reason, Jose got a weird feeling in the pit of his stomach. Something felt wrong to him. Raven was acting very strange, and he was afraid to get on the bridge at the same time as her. So he called out to her and told her to go on ahead, saying he needed to tie his shoelace. As Jose bent down to tie his shoe, Raven turned around to face him. That's when he saw it. She was grinning from ear to ear, but it wasn't a happy smile. It was a smile he had ever seen on his girlfriend's face before. He was as if her features were twisted into an evil grimace. All of a sudden, Raven threw herself off the side of the narrow bridge. Jose got to his feet and simply stared in shock. He didn't know what to do. He was so stunned. He could barely believe what had happened. Just then, he heard Raven screaming, "Jose, help me! Please help me!" Instinctively, he ran towards the bridge and peered over the edge. He couldn't see anywhere. "Raven, where are you?" he cried out desperately. "I can't see you. Where are you?" He just kept hearing Raven's voice screaming, "Help me! Please help me!" Jose was about to jump into the trench to save his girlfriend when something made him stop in his tracks. He hadn't noticed it until now, but in between Raven's screams, she was laughing. It wasn't a normal laugh, though. It seemed malicious and mischievous, almost diabolical. Jose felt the blood freeze in his veins. Shaking like a leaf, he backed away from the bridge. Something told him he was in danger. His instinct made him turn around and run in the opposite direction. He dashed down the road towards his house as fast as he could. Jose was so scared that he ran straight into his house and went upstairs to wake his mother. She was lying in bed, and when she saw Jose's pale face, she knew something was wrong. Her son could hardly speak. He was overwhelmed by fear and guilt. He couldn't help feeling that he may have left his girlfriend to drown back there. "What's wrong, Jose?" asked his mother. "You look like you've seen a ghost." "I don't know, Mama," he whispered. "I think something horrible has happened to Raven." His mother hugged him tightly as he cried on her shoulder. Just then, he heard a voice calling him from the yard. "Hey, Jose, wake up, let's go." He got up and looked out the window. He saw Raven standing in the front yard, staring up at him. When he glanced at the clock, he saw that it was 5:10 a.m. "I'm sorry I'm late," she said cheerfully. He was in total disbelief.